everyone, welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Rebecca. Today I am bringing you some rustic, modern farmhouse inspired Christmas DIY decor using mostly items from Dollar Tree. I hope you guys enjoy these Christmas crafts. Please give it a thumbs up if you do. Comment and let me know which one is your favorite. I always love hearing from you, and let's go ahead and get started.
So getting started with the first one, for this one I wanted to make something along the lines of a birch bark snowman, and I'm taking a Dollar Tree foam pumpkin as the base and then wrapping and layering some lace ribbon around here for some texture. However, if you can find the narrow burlap and twine design ribbons at Dollar Tree, I think it would look better. I think it would even already give you some of that like brownish color to help make this look like a birch bark snowman. I couldn't find that, so we are just going to make this lace one work, but you'll have to let me know what you think of how it turns out. I also took a white velvet pumpkin from Dollar Tree. It just seemed like it was the best size. Now, if you can find one that's not velvet and that is in a size that works, by all means use that. Now, for the velvet pumpkin, I decided to try something a little bit different, and I took this burlap ribbon and cut it into 4 little pieces here, 4 strips of burlap ribbon, and then I spaced those out and wrapped them around the velvet pumpkin, and then I came back over it, glued everything on with hot glue, and I sponged white chalk paint over this one as well. I also came back and cut some pieces of that same lace and added that onto the edges of the burlap pieces that I added. Just really wanted to build up some texture and dimension on this pumpkin so we could really make it look like tree bark and make this look like a birch bark, along with a smaller smooth pumpkin for the head, which I also painted white, but I skipped the lace on here because we're going to make our snowman face on this one now. So I used a generous amount of hot glue to stack all 3 pumpkins and keep them in place. You do have to pull out or cut off the stems in order to stack them up. And then Dollar Tree has 3 adorable little top hat ornaments this year in slightly different colors and patterns. So one of those will be perfect for our snowman hat. Now, for his nose, I took a large orange bead and then I glued a smaller orange bead on top of it, and this made kind of like a little pointy orange carrot nose. I also brushed on some chalk paint over portions of the lace in order to help make it look a little bit more like pieces of birch bark. I am using the color Castle, which is kind of a grayish brown color. It just seemed like the best thing I have to look like this, but whatever you have that's kind of like a tan color. I went all the way around the bottom and the middle pumpkins like this, just making these kind of stripes on the edge of the ribbons, on the edge of some of the ribbons, just in order to kind of help it look a little bit like pieces of bark. And then I added a piece of burlap ribbon around his neck, and I just kind of glued that in place so it would stay right where I wanted it there. And then I took a black Sharpie marker, so easy and simple to just make 2 little eyes and an adorable little smile on here, along with adding 3 beads down the front as buttons. Now, comment and let me know some name ideas for this little snowman, or is it a snow lady? I'm not really sure, so let me know if you think this sweet snow person looks more like a snowman or a snow girl, and what would you name him or her?
I also wanted to take a moment and thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community where people can come together to learn more about the topics that interest them, to take the next step in their creative journey, whether you want to explore new skills in creativity or just focus on learning more about the passions that interest you the most. Skillshare has thousands of creative classes on their site, everything from like graphic design, creative writing, photography, business, entrepreneurship, even crafts and painting, all kinds of things. Just to name a few, Skillshare is perfect for people who are curious and creative and lifelong learners looking to learn and grow. Members get access to thousands of inspiring videos. I love the fact that they have so many varieties on there. There's something for everyone, whatever your schedule is, whatever your skill level is, and all of the classes are broken down in a way space so that they're only like a few minutes long per segment, so you can easily come back, you can pause it and then resume, you can back up if you want to watch something over again. They also have interactive areas where you can share your own, pictures of what you're working on or things like that, where you can actually like engage with the community. Skillshare has no ads. They're always launching new premium classes, and it is less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. So I recently took Emily Henderson's class, Style Your Space, and it was really helpful and interesting in learning just about different design styles. She had a quiz on how to find your design style and how to then bring that together and how to bring in the elements of the design styles that are most representative of you, and to be able to incorporate them and build that into your space in your home. She has lots of examples, quizzes, and I just felt like it really offered a lot of value and knowledge and information in that class, and was really just concisely put together to really help you style a space that you love. With Christmas coming, I also took a class by Rose Sprinkle called Interior Design Holiday Home, and she offered so many things, like little details that honestly I'd never even thought of, like different ways that you can add lights into your tree for a different effect. She offered a lot of different examples of trends that are really popular this year, and then how to incorporate those trends and make it flow throughout your home, through your decor, to your tablescapes, to your gift wrapping, and all of that, to really just get a beautiful, seamless flow of your personal style. So I felt like that was really fun with Christmas coming as well, and something that you guys might enjoy. So right now, the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description box can get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. So I'm gonna have all that information linked down below in the description, so be sure to check it out. And now let's go ahead and get back into the rest of our Christmas decor crafts.
For the next one, you will need 2 of these signs from Dollar Tree. They have them for almost every season. So I'm lining them up side by side, parallel to each other, with the tops facing down. Glue them together and then take some popsicle sticks, and what we're going to do is cut the ends off so that you have a flat edge. And we are going to glue these on to all 4 sides of our little box. Now, you could even add them underneath if you want to, but it's definitely not necessary. I placed these on 4 popsicle sticks high, and you may be able to just do 3 across down the long side like this, but it also looks good if you cut shorter pieces to fit in more like a puzzle as well. You're going to cut them to fit pretty closely. They don't have to be perfect. That's totally fine. We're going to glue them on and then paint the whole thing over with chalk paint. So I think if you do have shorter pieces in here and you fit them in like a puzzle, I think it looks really cool and gives you kind of this patchwork wooden crate effect where they're not all exactly in the same place, but it's just whatever you prefer, whatever you like the look of. Now I'm painting this over using Adirondack white, and I painted the bottom as well. I think that's going to give it a lot more finished look, even though, I mean, nobody's really looking at the bottom. But you know what? I should have probably painted the inside too, because I think that actually is a little bit visible. I don't know why I didn't think to, but we're going to be filling it in pretty well, so I guess it's just kind of up to you. If I could go back, I'd probably paint the inside white, even though we are going to be gluing all of our greenery and Christmas florals inside here anyway. I glued 3 glass vase candle holders from Dollar Tree onto the center portion, which, as you can see, I did have to glue on 2 jumbo popsicle sticks on here first to give it some extra support, just to really help give a little more stable base for the candle holders. And then I glued my candle holders in. I just thought that that would make it a little more stable as well. I took neutral colored Christmas floral picks for this one, and lots of little greenery and pine picks, berries and white flowers in here as well. If you come back with some sandpaper and you sand some of the edges here, you'll get some of that natural wood color to peek through underneath the white paint. And I think it just gives this candle holder centerpiece a more natural and authentic look, like a beautiful centerpiece you could have easily purchased at your favorite home decor store. Here is how it turned out. I'm showing it right here with some real tea light candles while I'm here. However, I'm going to also link my favorite battery tea light candles that I use on a regular basis down below. I love how realistic they look, and I am obsessed with the fact that they are timer candles because I always forget to go and turn my candles on. On to the next Christmas DIY now. I'm lightly painting white chalk paint onto this chalkboard from Dollar Tree. I love that this one has the wood frame and the stand, which makes it already, honestly, a solid piece to use somewhere in your home, even without really doing much to it. It's a cute little chalkboard sign. But I ended up brushing the paint onto the sign and then wiping it off with a damp rag, and then just continuing basically to paint and wipe and sponge this until I was happy with how the sign looked. And then I rubbed some antiquing wax onto the wood frame to give it a little bit more natural, but also kind of more of a finished look. Cut a little piece of garland tie to create a little circle wreath here, and then glue that in the center. And then I'm going to make a J and a Y on either side of the wreath with my black Sharpie and spell out the word joy. That's all that I could fit on this vertical sign, but if you have a horizontal one like this, it will be easier if you want to spell out something longer like peace or Christmas or Merry or something like that. If you're worried about the handwriting part, you could look at a letter font like on a screen, on a computer, whatever, and then just kind of copy it and do it in pencil first, and then come back once you're happy with your letter and do it over in the marker. Or you could also use one of the black stickers instead and just use black stickers that Dollar Tree carries. Super easy, super cute. Here is how it turned out. For the next one, I wanted to change up this little Christmas village house and make it look more like an old farmhouse, although the coloring came together to be much more deep and moody than I was expecting. So comment and let me know what color you would like to see this house be. My daughter thinks that it looked a little bit like a haunted house, being really dark color. So I did the house with my black chalk paint, and I did add a little bit of white chalk paint in with it. So it's kind of a charcoal color. It's not truly black. And then I used mocha chalk paint for the roof. Then I kind of lightly sponged on, or kind of stippled on and dry brushed a little bit of white chalk paint on here. Actually, it wasn't really dry brushing. Some spots got a little bit heavier with the white paint, but hopefully this is giving you the effect of some details of snow on here. I also clipped 2 little pieces of those pine garland ties to add on the corners, which of course I think it just gives it like a little Christmas tree effect. And don't forget to brush a little snow, aka white chalk paint, on there as well. We don't want the house to be snowy and the trees not to be. That would be weird. So anyway, everything gets a dusting of snow here. And now these houses are intended for the Dollar Tree battery tea light candles. However, I wanted to use my timer ones, but they wouldn't quite fit in here. So basically, I think I am going to use this in the Christmas tree as an ornament and just place some of the lights from the tree up inside the house and kind of position the house with some of the tree lights sticking up inside it. And that is going to light up the windows. So here is how it turned out. Moving on, I have an 8x10 Dollar Tree canvas here along with 8 giant popsicle sticks. These are from Walmart, and I already cut the rounded edges off of them. I'm going to use a variety of chalk paints for this. Now, in neutral colors, you can even mix and match what you already have just in order to get the right colors that you want to fit with your decor. But basically, I am mixing up some greens, grays, along with some silver and white. I do have a little bit of like greenish, tan, beige colors in here as well. You can use antique wax if you want, and then do lighter and darker coats so that you have different shades of brown, whatever you want. So basically, we're just looking for some variation with each stick being a slightly different color. So at least that's the look I was going for here with this. Now, you might prefer them all the same color or just that natural wood. That's totally cool too. I also brushed some Parisian gray chalk paint onto this frame. I didn't want it to be black. I wanted to lighten up the frame here. I used the glass part in a different project, so this was the perfect little DIY to use the frame for. And I glued the sticks down onto the canvas now, how I wanted them, in vertical rows here, and then I glued the frame on right over the edges. And the last part was just adding a little sign. This one says believe. If you have one that says Merry Christmas or home or even just Christmas, there are plenty of options. For the next one, I took this little Dollar Tree fall harvest sign. You guys might remember a fall DIY that we did with the little sign that we took off the front of this one. And now we are reusing this part of the sign. So no worries, nothing is going to waste. I actually had an extra Dollar Tree placemat laying around that I decided to trace and cut out a piece to cover this sign with. Obviously, you could just paint the sign if you'd rather, but since I had the placemat, I wanted to be creative and see what this would look like. So stick with me and we'll just see how this sign turns out. I glued the placemat after I cut it out. I glued it in place on the sign. I am using hot glue, but definitely go really lightly with your hot glue so that you won't see it kind of squeezing and coming up through the placemat. That's not going to look good. So I then lightly brushed some white chalk paint over the whole placemat. I wanted to lighten it up. Honestly, I also think it would look really great without any paint on it. Just a matter of your personal preference. So I spelled out all is calm, all is bright, with these white letters from Dollar Tree. They are felt and they're just peel and stick, really easy. But if you can find these in that natural wood, I think that would be so pretty. That's what I really wanted to do, was to use the wood letters on here. However, I could not find the wood letters recently at Dollar Tree, so I just went with these because that is what I already had. And I glued the pieces of these little pine garland ties from Dollar Tree, and I glued them all around to frame the sign. And I also brushed on some white chalk paint to give us the snowy flocked look on the greenery as well. And then to finish it up, I glued some wintry floral pieces up at the top. I have a Dollar Tree snowy winter branch up here. Also some pieces that I cut off a 97-cent floral piece from Walmart. And I added a couple pine sprigs at the bottom and then a few snowflake stickers, and this would be perfect for winter wonderland and any neutral rustic Christmas decor. You could even stick this sign into your Christmas tree and use it as a large ornament in the tree. Final DIY I have for you today is taking this Dollar Tree sleigh bell ornament and painting it over with black chalk paint in a stippling effect to make it look like a real metal sleigh bell. I went back and forth layering and stippling on black and white chalk paint until it kind of created this galvanized grayish look, and to me it now looks like a large vintage metal sleigh jingle bell. Again, don't forget to check out Skillshare, and remember, the first 1,000 people who click the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare, so make sure that you check that out. Give it a try. Thank you guys so much for being here. I wish you a beautiful and blessed day, and I can't wait to see you soon in the next one.